Hi, I'm Michael, and this is Let's Talk Climate. This past week, Russia invaded the country of Ukraine. What's unfolded over the past few days is nothing short of terrible, and it's absolutely a humanitarian crisis that's happening right now. But the reaction around the world to this tragedy seems to vary. To condemn the attacks on Ukraine, many countries around the world began to impose sanctions on Russia, and some of these sanctions will directly impact the import and export of Russian oil and gas. So some quick background on Russian oil. Russia is one of the top oil and gas producers in the world. In 2020, Russia was ranked number 3 in the top petroleum producer and exporter, and they're the number 1 natural gas producer. Oil and gas is the biggest part of Russia's economy. Many countries around the world, and especially in Europe, depend on Russia's oil and gas for their own electricity generation and transportation. This Twitter post by Mike Hudima shows gas pipelines colored in green and oil pipelines colored in red that extend from Russia throughout Europe and Asia. And what's missing on this map is actually a lot of exports go overseas to countries like the United States as well. So what I found personally most shocking and disturbing as this whole crisis unfolded and as cities began to get bombed, people getting killed, is that around the world, one of the biggest concern was the rise in oil prices. To me, this speaks to a much more disturbing truth, and that's why I wanted to make this video today to talk about it. The fear of oil prices rising due to the terrible invasion of Ukraine by Russia shows that, one, there's a lot of people around the world who are just extremely selfish and worrying only about the increasing price of gas at the pump rather than what's happening to the Ukrainian people right now being invaded by a ruthless dictatorship and global superpower. Number 2 is that the world is still clearly so dependent on oil and gas that even after renewable energy solutions have been around for decades and knowing that we're causing climate change and global warming and that it's a significant threat to humankind in the future, that we're still using it is a problem. The transition to clean energy is simply happening too slowly. And number 3, the dependence of many countries around the world on Russia's oil and gas and vice versa, Russia selling the gas, shows that we have an opportunity in front of ourselves to potentially cripple Russia's economy and their military. We can do this by seeking out alternative sources of energy to fossil fuels and enabling nations to become energy independent. If the world takes this stand, it could significantly accelerate our transition to a renewable energy future. But it requires all of us to work together. Saying no to oil and gas could be the best way to fight Russia, fight climate change, and save lives. This is a short video clip of what investor Ross Gerber had to say on the Meet Kevin show on the rising oil prices.
Of a shock in Europe for a period of time. It's probably going to affect us out here for a bit. And that's going to lead to some more inflation, at least from energy prices and producer prices for a while.
Yeah. And this has happened a couple times, and I'm thrilled about it. It's the best thing that could happen.
But to encourage an EV transition, you going all in on Tesla?
I'm in. That's the business I'm in. It's called the oil business. Them. Russia. That's right. I'll say it. Saudi Arabia. And the best way you can do it is buying a Tesla. You buy a Tesla, you buy a Polestar, you put solar on your house, you buy batteries, and you don't use oil because my cost of living hasn't gone up at all. Your cost of living hasn't gone up. Same price. I don't buy oil. I don't buy gas.
Putting up a stand now to stop the import of Russian oil and gas and to stop investing in fossil fuels generally could help bring an end to this conflict in Ukraine and save a lot of lives. But we have to work together, and it will take some personal sacrifices to make this switch from fossil fuels to clean energy. We have the solutions right now to do this, such as installing solar power and wind, and buying an electric vehicle. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this whole crisis unfolding in Ukraine, your thoughts on our dependence on oil, and what we need to do about it. Also, let me know if you have any questions you want me to answer or topics you want me to cover in future videos. Thanks for watching.